I gotta tell ya, I'm a freak for this game.
Fatality.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Wake Up 3. This is round 51, and I am your host, Cam.
And I'm your host, Molly. And this is a fighting game podcast from a couple who loves fighting games.
That is right, and as per usual, we are going to start things off with a mix-up. And I've got the mix-up. So, it's a Fatal Fury kind of week. It's been kind of a Fatal Fury-centric couple of weeks, I guess you could say. Year? Yeah. We've been playing a lot of GAROU, pretty much all year long. And we've been really looking forward to it. And if you've clicked this episode, you already know that this is about Mark of the Wolves. So that's actually what we're going to talk about as well for the mix-up. So I was looking through characters on SNK's wiki, and I decided I wanted to pick 3 characters and have you guess them based on nothing but their likes and dislikes.
Okay.
The first one, let's see here. The first one likes his girlfriends and high-cut sneakers. And dislikes rats.
Off to kind of a rough start, I have to say.
Yeah, I didn't say they would be easy. It's not like their likes and dislikes have to be related to the rest of them as a character, you know, as portrayed in the game.
My gut goes with Dong.
Yeah, you got it, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I just feel like he's the only one that it could truly be. I kind of considered Terry, but the high cut sneakers was like,
also
felt like someone younger.
Also likes his girlfriends. That wouldn't be Terry.
I don't know. Terry's. I don't know what Terry's trying to do, but
it's definitely a bum. But yeah, it's Dong. A couple other fun facts about Dong that I liked on here. Hobbies: hitting on girls.
Oh.
That's all it has for hobbies. Okay. That's the only one he's got. And a special skill of his is gluttony. His record is 60 plates of clams.
Wow, okay.
That's a lot of clams.
Big clam eater.
Yeah, big clam guy. Next character. Let's see how you do here. Likes dangling style linear coasters and their pet. So that would be like the kind of roller coaster where you were suspended below the track and your legs dangled. And dislikes earthquakes.
My gut is Hotaru.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It actually it says specifically her pet Itekatsu.
Aww.
So that's her little ferret's name.
I never knew the ferret's name. That's fun.
And a hobby of hers is her cute ribbon collection. That's it. It doesn't specify what she does with it. But yeah, she's got a cute ribbon collection.
Puts them in her hair.
And her favorite food is chocolate ice cream banana crepe, which sounds pretty good to me. I would try it.
Very specific.
It is.
Sounds good. Maybe we'll have to make it on the Wake Up 3 cooking show.
Yeah.
Soft launch.
Soft launch of the Wake Up 3 cooking show.
Yeah.
Next character. Their likes are hot springs, their master, and their dislikes are hairy caterpillars.
Oh my god. This is going to be difficult. They like hot springs and their master, but they hate hairy caterpillars. Oh. Is this Hokuto Maru?
It is. You're good at this. You're good at this. Yeah, I was thinking the master might throw you off a little bit.
That did. I had to think wildly for a minute there.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got it.
Another like I had to cut out entirely because it would have completely gave it away. It was, and all Shiranui people.
Aww.
And his hobbies, Hokuto Maru's hobbies are going to the hot springs in the mountains with monkeys.
Monkey boy.
And his forte in sports, athletics.
Oh, okay. Just being able to run around.
Just being able to run around. Yeah, that's it. Makes sense. He's a monkey boy.
From the mountains. He loves hot springs. It all makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So sweet.
So, yeah, you got all 3 of those.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Sweet.
I wanted to just do 3. There were a couple others where I would look at the character and I thought, like, I really can't break this person's likes down enough to still say them without just immediately giving the character away.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like the genets were like boats.
Yeah.
Pirate things.
Whoa, Cam, it looks like you are cornered. Since I took that mix-up, you're in the news corner.
All right. I'll start things off with the news. In the last episode, we didn't really talk about the most recent reveals for Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, because now we know the full roster. And actually, we're recording on day of release, so we definitely know the full roster at this point. But we didn't get to talk about Salvatore Gannacci being announced, a real-life human man DJ, and also Hokuto Maru. What are your thoughts on those two? I know you kind of had some crazy back and forth reactions on at least one of them.
Hokuto Maru, you would think that I should have always been happy about it, but before he was announced, I was not fully on board with him yet as a character. But I am happy about Hokuto Maru being there. I think, obviously, I just feel like he belongs. We should really talk about Salvatore because his announcement came, I think, very shortly after Cristiano. Like it was it was the following reveal. Like probably like a week later.
Yeah, it was about a week later we got him and it was like, oh, another human.
I was not on board with it at all. Salvatore being announced was someone I did not know. I was not familiar with Salvatore. At the time, I was just very upset about that reveal. Once again, I'm happy to say that I've made quite the turnaround, even more so than Hokuto Maru, probably is more extreme. I don't know. I really did. I did dislike Hokuto Maru before, but I was like very, very passionately upset about Salvatore, and now I'm like all for it. So.
Yeah, you woke me up that day of the reveal, and you were like, "You'll never guess who's in the game." And then you told me, and you're like, "It's Salvatore Gannacci." I was just kind of like, "Oh, cool." Like, I don't know who that is, but I guess I'm cool with it. It was immediate acceptance followed by, yeah, I kind of like this dude.
Yeah, I was ready for Cam to be completely on my side. Like, yeah, what is this? Like, why would they do this? but no, he was just very like laid back about it, weirdly calm.
Yeah, you were like, why aren't you more upset by this? Like, I don't know. SNK is going to do what they want, and you just have to accept it, I guess.
Yeah, well, you were ahead of the curve there. A lot of people are experiencing that same, like, hey, I don't know what I was so mad about. This guy's pretty cool. But yeah, at the time I thought his moves looked silly and like not good. I was really upset, but now I'm not upset at all. And once again, that was April 3rd, and we're now at the game's release. April 21st. What were your thoughts? Aside from you being surprisingly fine with Salvatore, what did you think of the Hokuto Maru final announcement? He was the final character.
Yeah, he was the final reveal, and I thought he looked fun. I was never a Hokuto Maru hater at any point, really. I always thought he always kind of had some fun moves. I was cool with it. I think he kind of had like I'm putting this in air quotes, like a glow up, I guess, because he's a little bit older now. It's been a couple of years in between games. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fine. I kind of like his weird hair that he used to have, but now he has like shaved sides and he looks a little bit more done up. But yeah, I'm cool with it. And for Salvatore, I think his moveset looks kind of fun. I kind of liked it right off the bat, even though it is a little goofy. And I have heard a lot of people say, like, oh, his walk is weird. It doesn't look like he actually moves right. Or, you know, they just complain about some of his animations, his specials being goofy, how he flies through the air. But those are all things that I've discovered are just like from his music videos and his random like artsy videos that he makes on YouTube as well, which are kind of fun. So yeah, I don't know. I'm all for this dude. I like Salvatore now. He's cool. So I'm probably gonna play him. At one point, like as soon as he first got announced, Molly was like, "Fuck no! If you ever pick him, I am not even gonna play against you." Oh, we did get one other piece of info that you've been waiting for personally for a while. Elena, just the world tour trailer. We got to see Elena dancing around, and we got to see Drive Rushing animals. So I know there were a lot of people that were hoping Drive Rush would be nerfed or get taken out altogether or, you know, whatever. But with the Drive Rushing zebras and hippos and all that, I don't think it's going anywhere.
And elephants. You can't forget the elephants.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, Drive Rushing elephants. Something that Dalsum does not have.
Nope.
He's got elephants, but they don't drive rush.
Not yet.
Yeah, you're right. She'll be joining us June 6th. June 5th? June 5th. Whenever the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah. Whenever that happens. I almost feel like there was one other thing that we... Oh, yeah. We didn't get into 2XK.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We didn't get into the 2XKO beta, so we're not going to be talking about that at all.
Cold hard drop. We hope the 4 people that got in enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. It sounds like the game is cooking itself from the inside by slow development, lukewarm communication, and exclusive betas.
And lack of a whole lot of characters for being a tag team game. And I read a tweet from somebody earlier saying that Riot really cooked when they made a tag team game with no mix-up. So sorry to dump on them all like that.
I've honestly heard like a lot of not good things gameplay wise that do not make it sound like something I want to play. So I don't know. Good luck with that. Whenever you do release it, they said they're not going to say anything until Evo, which is like forever away.
Yeah, that's a while from
deuces.
Now. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, as of right now, like 99% of the excitement that I had for it is completely gone.
Yeah, totally shot. Let's get into the episode though, because the game that we are talking about today, I gotta tell you, I'm a freak for this game.
That's true. You're an absolute sicko for this game now. It took you a while to get into it, to actually try it, but I feel like the second you tried it, you were hooked. And that game is...
GAROU Mark of the Wolves.
Boom.
Ooh, I just love the way that sounds.
Yeah, I love that.
I just love the vibes of this game. But yeah, you're right. It did, Cam mentioned that it took me a while to actually play this game. I've known about it for a long time, and I feel like it took City of the Wolves approaching closer and closer for me to get in there and play GAROU.
Yeah, I've had it for a couple of years now, and it took me a while to actually get you to play it, and I think part of that is because of the names of certain characters. You saw them and then just refused to give it a second glance. You're like,
Aren't
no.
they right by each
no.
other too?
They might
be right next to each other.
They might be side by side, but either way, I'm pretty sure I put them both on screen at once, and I was like, babe, look, and you're like, there are characters named Dog and Butt in this game? Fuck this. Like, I'm never playing this. But now look at you. You play it every day.
Yeah, I can't stay away. And Dong happens to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are talking all about...
Someone's gonna clip that.
Shut the fuck up. Oh. Yeah, today we are talking about GAROU.
Yeah, and don't clip any of our Dong quotes. Anyways, we're going to spend most of the episode just kind of talking about our experience with the game and all the characters and just like vibrancy that the entire game has. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot of heart to this game. There's still stuff that I keep seeing as I play it that I have never seen before. From like accidental taunts that I do at the end of a round to little Easter eggs in the background that I wouldn't have noticed without Go Billy's notes that he does on his Twitter page.
Shout out to Gil Billy.
Yeah. We interviewed him once and it was super fun. One of my favorite episodes that we've ever done. That was episode 33.
When we talked to him on the show, we asked what his favorite fighting games of all time were. The first one he said was immediately GAROU.
Yeah.
And at the time, I hadn't played GAROU yet, but I could tell from his excitement about it that this was going to be a really good one.
Yeah, I think that was what made you put aside the fact that, like, you had that judgment initially, like, I'm going to have to play as characters named Dong and Butt.
It'll be worth it.
So here we are in a world where we both play GAROU Mark of the Wolves pretty much every day on the lead up to City of the Wolves. And yeah, before we talk about our experience with it, I'm just going to start with a little story. Just a brief story. Set 10 years after the death of the notorious crime lord Geese Howard, the city of Southtown has become more peaceful. Now, the stage is in the neighboring city of Second Southtown. A new fighting tournament called King of Fighters Maximum Mayhem starts in the area, and several characters related with the fighters from the old era of King of Fighters tournaments participate within it. I don't really know who they're referring to for the most part when they say that characters related to the King of Fighters of old are in it. Aside from, obviously, like Terry, Rock, Hokutomaru was trained by Andy, but I can't think of anybody else. Who's related to others? I guess Kevin Ryan, Blue Mary. Anyways, one quote when I was doing research on this game and kind of what they were thinking about when they were designing it was the concept behind this game was a game that's snappy without getting tiresome. And I think that really fits this game. It feels like it's quick and like you do have to do a lot of small reactions all the time. It is snappy. I think they succeeded in that goal. But we should start by talking about the characters. There's 14 characters in this game. The only one that came back from any of the other Fatal Fury games is Terry Bogard, which fan favorite, I guess. Not really around here, but definitely a fan favorite character. Everybody knows and loves Terry.
We still haven't quite figured out why, but
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we've been stunned to find out just how much people actually love Terry.
Like,
the guy that we
legitimately.
both just thought was a bum. Well, he is.
He
You
is a
don't
bum.
just think it, he is.
He's definitely like a train dwelling bum. Yeah. Every stage he has is either outside of a gas station or on a train. Aside from that, the new characters that show up are, and this game came out in 1999, by the way, so many of these characters have been in things since. But put yourself in November of 1999. You walk into an arcade. You see Terry Bogard looking different. He's wearing a brown jacket and jeans instead of his typical red hat and red vest. You think, that's interesting. Who are these other weirdos? Who's this guy that's dressed like a bird? And we will get to him. But let's start with Rock Howard, the son of coolest character ever that we still need to do an episode on, Geese Howard.
There's not enough episodes for Geese.
That's true. Jenet, pirate princess. We've got Kim Kafwan's two sons, Kim Dongwon and Kim Jae-hoon. Hotaru Futaba and her brother Gato. Tizak, or Griffin Mask as they call him in the Japanese version. Marco Rodriguez, or Kushnude Butt as he's known in the North American release of Garou for some reason. And he's named Marco, but
It's like the weirdest regional difference of all time.
Kushnude Butt.
Yeah, now they've just completely ran with the Marco
Yeah. So
naming convention.
he's worldwide Marco now.
Mm-hmm.
Marco worldwide. He'll always be Butt to me, at least a little bit.
No, there's no butt left. You have to call him Marco now.
Oh no. Then we've got the ninja kid, Hokutomaru. He was just announced for City of the Wolves. Little monkey boy, he was trained by Andy and Mai. We've got Kevin Ryan, Blue Mary's cousin? Like second cousin, something like that. They're somehow related. He's a cop. Then we've got Freeman, criminal. Yeah, you just rolled your eyes at him like, yeah, we've got Freeman, sure. And then we've got Grant, sub-boss. Kind of looks like a little devil man, a large devil man. And Kain, my favorite, the boss. So what are your thoughts on that roster? It's 14 characters, and it feels like when you play them all, there's a lot of variety in the gameplay.
Yes, it does. Even when you look at the roster and decide that, oh, you know what? There's definitely one person on this roster that I'm not going to play. You still have a lot to choose from.
True. Who's that one person that when you look at this game, is it Freeman?
It's Freeman.
It's Freeman. Yeah, that's kind of
Now,
what
I
I thought.
have played Freeman, and my thoughts on his gameplay is it's really weird.
Okay.
But not in a good way.
What do you mean?
It's just different. A very strange set of moves, in my opinion. I don't like it.
It's not my favorite. It's like a poor boy's Iori. I would much rather play Iori. Yeah, I think this is a great roster. And I guess, the more I look at it, I guess quite a few of the characters are related in some way to Fatal Fury characters of old, but with a lot of new additions.
Mm-hmm. Jenet in particular is kind of related to nobody.
Yeah, she's just a completely new original character. She's a pirate princess. She's got like a loyal crowd of pirate followers, the Lillian Knights. Yeah, Jenet is a lot of fun. She's got very flowy Mai-like moves, I guess, but I think not as like direct hitting as Mai.
Yeah,
know what
they're
I mean?
different. They're
Like-
different. I get what you're saying, though.
She's got a lot of that like floaty moves, and the down back punch specifically, that little like dress wave that she does makes me think of the move that when Mai hits you with a little fire wave.
Oh, yeah.
So she's the Mai stand-in, I guess. I wish Maya was in this game. She's the one Fatal Fury character that feels like she's missing from this.
Yeah, I would say with this roster, there's kind of a bit of everything.
Right.
But I would agree that despite that, it still kind of feels like it would have benefited from just having Mai. That's just kind of something that we've talked about and we agree on, but that just might be because we like Mai.
Yeah, I know we only have one returning character in Terry, but I feel like they could have done two. They could have had Terry and Mai show up.
Yeah, they could
like Street
have.
Fighter.
I think it would have been fun to have Mai, but I love the roster. I think it's perfect, even with Freeman.
Yeah.
You gotta have a dud.
That's true. You gotta look at the roster. I feel like that should be something we talk about when we talk about other games, like games of the past or whatever. Mm-hmm. What's the one character you look at and you're like, no, not for me?
This is the one.
Yeah.
There's always at least one.
Yeah. What was the one I said the other day that got you? We weren't even talking about a specific game, but we mentioned this where it was like, what is the one character, on a roster that you won't touch? And my mind immediately went to MK11 Sonya Blade.
Oh my god. Yeah. The way he said that so quickly, I was just shocked.
Just very anti whatever they did to her in that game.
There's a deep-seated dislike of MK11 Sonya coming from Cam.
Right.
But anyways.
Let's talk about Rock a little bit because we talked about him being the son of Geese Howard. But we also, I want to mention that he's the adopted son of Terry. Because he felt bad for killing his dad. So he's like, yeah, I guess I'll adopt you.
And Terry's adopted.
Yeah, Terry's adopted as well.
So he understands the struggle.
Yeah.
He feels like he has to stick up for other orphans.
Kinda, yeah. He even though he was orphaned by the guy that he killed. So it's like cyclical.
Look, Terry's not known for being a genius.
No, he's known for Bust a Wolf. I found this really cool interview from the year 2000, which was obviously only a year after this game came out. And it had a lot of Oda quotes from development time, basically, or like what their thought process was for certain characters. And I thought that was really interesting. I want to share a couple of them. I'm not going to go through like every single character, but I do want to start with Rock. The quote is, "Since Rock was the main character, he was given special attention. The designers sought to have the pixel artist express a character that'd bring a tear to their eye. A handsome man's man who, despite his seemingly perfect looks, has an air of vulnerability that's strangely alluring. This character received so many revisions that the designer was in a state of constant exasperation."
Wow.
I thought some of that was shocking. They wanted him to be a handsome man's man and bring a tear to your eye. Does that happen to you when you look at Rock Howard? I think it does now.
What?
I feel like you love Rock. You're a big Rock fan.
What?
I think it's really funny. I don't get it. I'm not really a Rock enjoyer, but you seem to have kind of grown on him a little bit, or maybe he's grown on you a little bit. Yeah, I feel like we both kind of started out like, oh, this guy's got Terry moves. I don't think so, but...
Is Rock a man's man?
A man's man that'll bring a tear to your eye. He's so handsome. It's pretty great. I like that.
Well, the tear to your eye part reminds me of the victory screen that you'll get as Rock, where he's looking all sad and he says, it's got this really great typo.
Yeah, that's right. I
want apostrophe T. I want to forget myself and fly away or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that part is like the tear to your eye. Like you're supposed to like sympathize with Rock.
Like, oh, poor Rock Howard.
But the man's man.
I was thinking maybe that was the part that got constantly designed because I don't know if they fell on that or not. I feel like Rock Howard just looks like a boy to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
Yeah.
He doesn't give man's man vibes to me. But...
No, not really. But maybe it's a cultural thing.
I also don't know what man's man is supposed to be.
A handsome man's man.
I don't know.
But that's what you think of when you look at Rock Howard in the end. Now let's talk about butt. Coming to you from SNK, the company that believes in the power of the one-hit kill, is Marco, an altogether different beast who represents Kyokugen Ryu with a style dripping with manly mojo. Brace yourself for a kind of sexiness that's ever so slightly different from Rock Howard. Why do they keep bringing him into the weird manly man sexy stuff? And that was from another game designer. That one wasn't Oda. That was from So-So.
That was a very enlightening but quote because because I always get, don't take this the wrong way, but I always get grossed out at his victory picture.
Yeah, how he's like sweaty and like real gross looking, but he's huge. Marco is the Shoto of this game, and they designed him to be a powerhouse, which you can tell in the way he feels in gameplay. Everything he does hits hard. But you're right, he has like the weirdest, kind of grossest looking image for his windscreen.
Yeah.
He's like hella sweaty in it, just like doing karate poses. I've got a quote on Dong. I've got a Dong quote. Unlike his father, Dong Hwan is a happy-go-lucky guy who hates training. Due to space limits, his normals are almost identical to those of his brother, but I did my best to differentiate him through his neutral poses and other production elements. He has some annoying moves and is strangely strong, but he's a character that's hard to hate. Hitting the pomp dance after a win is a given. And that is from game designer Heitaru. I did that dance by mistake once, and I was surprised to see it. And yeah, it's a fun little taunt. I like that. What do you think of Dong? I know you kind of mentioned that you enjoy him, but...
Yeah, Dong quickly became one of my favorites.
Do you think he's your favorite of the two brothers, or is it hard to say? Because I think for me, he's definitely my favorite over Jae-hoon.
He's definitely my favorite too.
Okay.
And I've said this to Cam before. If we could only have one brother in City of the Wolves, I'm glad that it was Dong.
Yeah.
Because he is my favorite.
They are both fun, but I think at the end of the day, if we could only get one, I think you're right. Dong should be the one. And he is. So I guess we lucked out there. I'm looking forward to seeing his dance taunt again. But yeah, he's fun. Doesn't he kind of seem like he's more of the YOLO character than his brother? Because Jae-hoon seems like he's a lot more just straight up like Kim.
Yeah, Jae-hoon has the discipline.
Yeah, and Dong's got the free play. The
loose
freedom.
Genius.
Loose genius, yeah. That's his song, right?
Mm-hmm. And he's got the casino stage.
That's right. Yeah, there's some great stages in this game. Next up, Hokutomaru, Ninja Boy. When Hokutomaru was first conceived, he was an underwhelming little brat with a few brief hints of coolness. But after making a quick series of changes, he ended up becoming a kid ninja with a monkey boy vibe.
That initial thing is like how I felt about him before.
Yeah, a little brat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of just annoyed me.
Right.
I didn't really want to play him. Yeah, I guess initially there were a few people that I didn't really want to play.
Yeah,
it would have been like him, Freeman, Terry by default because
it's Terry.
It's
we just
Terry.
don't get it.
I just don't need to play Terry.
I just still don't understand the Terry love.
Yeah, what part of you needs to play Terry Bogard?
The
dumb part?
A really dark part.
The dark and dumb.
Yeah, that was an Oda quote, and I thought that was fun. That he kind of ended up becoming a kid ninja with a monkey boy vibe. That's definitely what it comes off as in Mark of the Wolves, and I think he's fun. He's got a lot of personality, and even just the way he moves around. I did want to talk about Freeman a little bit just with this quote because I don't personally have anything to say about him other than I'm not a fan. But this Oda quote kind of gave me some interesting insight. I had a lot of trouble trying to best express Freeman's flexible, rubberish way of moving. When the third edition of that other fighting game hit arcades midway through development, the resemblance between Freeman and a certain other character really had me sweating. For a moment, I was thrown so completely off kilter that I seriously considered making him Remy's younger brother. So it was not intentional that they designed him to look like Remy from Street Fighter Third Strike, but you can't really help but notice a resemblance.
That is so weird.
Isn't it?
Didn't we just say that in the last episode?
I think we did.
I think we specifically talked about Remy and Freeman.
I think we did.
Yes.
And yeah, they he was like, oh
What?
shit. We've got a character coming out that looks like this too. And then another designer named DMetal had something else to say about him. As far as I'm concerned, my image of Freeman was that of death metal and grindcore. Marilyn Manson was the model, and any resemblance to Remy is strictly coincidental. So, you've got two sides of the same Freeman coin there, I guess.
This artist's name is DMetal.
DMetal.
Well, it makes sense that that's their view of it, because
Yeah.
it seems like that's your whole personality. Yeah, my name's DMetal, and I base this character off heavy metal.
And Manson.
Fuck you, Remy.
Yeah. That part's from us. A little bit about Hotaru. I thought this one was kind of the most surprising to me. Hotaru's concept of an unhappy girl whose personality comes from a lack of personality was difficult to convey to others, and in doing so, I was forced to offer extremely broad, stereotypical instructions, and the person responsible ended up hating the character for quite a while. My one regret is that she really does say Oni-chan too often. That's an Oda quote. Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds strange. Like, yeah, I guess it does kind of sound like a pain to make Hotaru, but why?
Yeah, I don't really...
Why?
I don't get what that backstory would necessarily mean. Do you think she has a lack of personality? I feel like I see her as like a peaceful animal enjoyer, animal lover.
And also, why was that the concept in the first place? To make someone's entire personality based on the fact that they have no personality?
I'm not sure. Maybe that's one of those like, hey, no one's ever done this before kind of things.
Now you know why?
Yeah, now you know why.
Weird.
I don't think she really comes off that way. In gameplay, she's got a lot of fun little things. She's got the projectile parry. I think she's got personality. She spins around when she wins.
I don't think it went the direction that they originally wanted, but I also don't understand the original direction. And it sounds like no one else did either. I feel like that artist probably was like, man, I need to give her a pet because I'm bored as hell.
The pet became a big part of her, and I love it. I think it's great.
I do love the pet ferret. I wish that it was part of, like, something more.
Like a super... But yeah, let's talk about actually playing the game, because there are a lot of characters that I will kind of drift towards and play here and there when we play, but I definitely have my go-tos.
I think my favorites to play are Dong and... Cam's trying to get me to say Terry.
I'm just zooming in on a picture of Terry Bogard.
I like playing Dong. I like playing Jaehoon. I like T-Zok.
Yeah, you're a big grappler fan though, and I think anyone listening knows that about you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't really know how much I've talked about that. Maybe. Do I talk about that a lot? I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know.
That's my style.
Yeah,
like Cam has discovered that he likes charge, and I've discovered that I really like to grapple.
Yeah, and I think you're probably the best at grappling. Like T-Zok, you're
just
really...
period.
Just in general.
Everyone else can stop.
Everyone else can just stop doing it. Yeah. I think what I mean is, like, from what I've heard and what I've seen online, tier list wise, T-Zok is low tier. He's like one of the worst characters in the game, one of the bottom two. But you make him look like he's not at all that. Like you just make him look like a monster.
Oh.
It's just your grappler lifestyle.
Yeah, it's just the way I grapple.
Meanwhile, Kain is high tier, and that's my favorite. He's like the charge character of this game, and he's my favorite. He's the main villain, the main boss. He feels like a boss a little bit.
He definitely does when Cam plays him.
I mean, he's the villain, and I play him like a villain. I think he's supposed to be that way. So, yeah, a lot of projectiles, and in the new game, he's gonna have a trap too. Another favorite of mine. So it feels good to just fill the screen with fireballs.
Another character that I find myself playing a lot in Garou is the man's man, Rock. I actually didn't try playing him for a while. Cam told me that Rock was considered bottom one in Garou. So naturally, he's bottom one. Well, let's test that out. Let's test this out in Garou. And once again, I'm feeling like Rock is not bottom one, according to me anyway.
Right, and that could just be one of those, like, I guess the character fits kind of things, so it doesn't seem bottom one in your hands. You're making him look pretty good, and I mean, City of the Wolves has introduced a ton more moves to his moveset. He's got the air fireballs now, so that's going to be kind of scary.
I do like having that, so.
Yeah, definitely. That's super cool.
The funny thing is, though, even with all of the cool additions that Rock has in City of the Wolves, I never feel like playing GAROU Rock is, you know, like sad again. You know, going back to GAROU Rock is like
right, yeah,
not fun or not good. Like, it still feels good even though he doesn't have some of the stuff.
And he's still got some
It's
cool
so
moves.
Good. One thing that I really love about GAROU that we haven't talked about yet is the look of the game. The way that Rock's effects look. I remember the first time that, because you know, it took you know, a few times to actually pick up Rock and GAROU. I remember how struck I was by the way his little fireballs and the raging storms looked, and I thought they just looked so good.
Yeah,
and
the sprite work is insane
yes.
in this game. We'll go into a match as different characters, and we'll just do like the walk back animations, walk back and forth,
oh
or
my
like
god, yes.
look at people's crouches to see how they differ. And
the walk back and forth of, I guess, Fatal Fury in general, it's so much fun.
It is. It's great.
That was such a fun thing to do in GAROU, and then also look at in City of the Wolves when we could play the betas. I know now that's going to sound like, well, you could just play it. Yeah, seeing those things brought back and how they remain consistent is fun. But yeah, I think my favorite walk back and forward is Dong.
Is it? That's what I thought you were going to say. He's got a fun one. He's got the hands in the pocket.
His walk forward is my favorite.
Yeah, it's good. I think I like the little monkey boys walk forward the most. The skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hakudomaru kind of skips but like forward when he's walking towards you, and I really like that. I like his run as well. How he just dashes. He moves his limbs a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also like Jenet's a lot. I think she has a really iconic walk forward and back.
Those two characters that we just talked about are actually some of my favorites. I mean, after Kain, I think my other two follow-ups would probably be Jenet and Hakudomaru. And it took me a while to get to those two. I feel like I played a lot of Marco, or Butt, I guess. Mm-hmm. I want to call him Butt. He's Butt in this game.
Right. It's fair.
Yeah. So I played a lot of him to start, and I played a little bit of Kevin and Dong and Grant. I tried Grant. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't stick because, like, sure, he's powerful and he feels good, and he's got a lot of fuck you moves, but he's also a little bit boring, at least to me. I don't know. I don't love playing Grant. Like, it's...
You think Vox soured the experience of Grant? Because I feel like before you liked Grant more.
I think so. I think it's hard. I think I liked Grant, and then I played Vox, and it was like, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. And then going back to Grant, it's like tainted.
Oh no.
So I'm a little bit less of a Grant fan than I used to be, but that's okay. I've got Hakudomaru, a little ninja monkey boy now, and Jenet, the pirate girl. You're the one that suggested that I play her, and I feel like it's a good fit.
I know things sometimes about stuff. Yeah, I feel like I kind of have an awareness of what fighting game characters will fit for people. Especially if I know, if I've seen you play fighting games before, I can recommend pretty well.
I think so.
So, that's kind of what I'm aiming to do in the FGC in the future.
Be the kind of coach that helps you find your ideal match for a character. A matchmaker.
A main matchmaker.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Matchmaker.
Main matcher.
Main matcher.
Yeah, so I kind of put you on the track to getting into Jenet more because you're a bit iffy on the moveset, but I think I kind of did enough.
I think you got me.
Yeah, I think he likes it.
Yeah, it's been fun. I think it fits. She's got a lot of like it's like sassy style moves and stuff where it's like, gotcha. Gotcha, like hard call-outs. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I think that's fun.
Jenet also has a really good stage, one of my favorite looking stages, with a lot of fun stuff going on in the background too.
Yeah, it's like a submarine that's landed on a dock. It's kind of crash landed on the dock and destroyed it, and there's a bunch of people running and fleeing. There's people just kind of observing it, and then there's a guy on the far right of the stage in the water that looks like a creep, like a water person.
I just thought he was being a creep.
He seems like it.
Yeah, like he knows that Jenet always parks her boat here. Docks?
Yeah.
Docks her ship here.
Parks her boat.
So I was trying to get a look because he's a creep.
It seems like it. So yeah, check out that dude on the far right in the water.
The guy on the far right.
He looks weird.
You'll know the one. You'll know him when you see him. But yeah, I really like her stage. It's really good looking. And I also like the Hokuto Maru stage and the rock stage. Those are my favorites.
Yeah. Rock stage is like outside of a bar in a parking lot, but like in a cool way. I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but it's actually like a really cool stage.
It is cool. I feel like it's, it's iconic in its own little way.
Yeah. I just realized like outside of a bar in a parking lot sounds like the shittiest stage possible. Just the way it's done is like really cool. It's got a nice perspective to it too.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Trust me. Hokuto Maru has a good stage.
He has...
and theme.
Yeah, he has potentially the best stage in the game. And theme, I guess. The stage is just absolutely loaded with Easter eggs, SNK references, and all kinds of just visual chaos. Visual chaos might sound like a bad thing. That's not exactly what I meant. It's just, it is a busy stage, but in like all the right ways. There's a traffic accident going on. There's... Where would you say it is, first off? Like Times Square or something that looks like it?
Right, yes.
There are, like, people getting mad at you for apparently causing this accident before you actually got there, of course. Hokuto Maru apparently caused this accident, and that's why everybody's so upset.
One cool thing about the stages, and I guess this kind of ties into the character expression, because every stage in this game is a character stage. With Hokuto Maru's stage, and with everyone's stage, when that character fights on that stage, they get a special intro with it. So for Hokuto Maru, because we're talking about all these accidents and these cars, a tire literally drops on his head.
I think my favorite, and it's very simple, but I think my favorite might be Hotaru's stage. The Philanthropy Bell. It's a bell tower. It's very simple in terms of stage, and it's got like a nice little calming backtrack, but at the very beginning of the stage, some birds descend down on Hotaru and just grab a little cloak off of her and pull it away. Mm-hmm. And it's really sweet. It's nice. I like it. For some reason, that was one that always stood out to me as soon as I saw it. Like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's probably my number one.
Do you have a favorite stage?
As much as I like Hokuto Maru's city stage, I think my favorite might be the Jenet stage.
Oh.
I love the docks and the way the submarine is just kind of crashed up onto it, and all the pirates are interacting with each other and kind of watching you and stuff too. Another one I really enjoy is the wilderness stage. It's got a lot of little animals all over the place. It's got a bear cub roaming around and a couple of wolves, bunnies, squirrels. I like all the animals in it, and when you taunt as Marco on that stage, all the animals will react by looking at him. It's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Another good example of that is Jae-hoon's stage, the market, with all of the other Taekwondo students kind of just out and about watching the fight. When you're Jae-hoon, they'll all cheer for you. If you're just Dong and Jae-hoon is not present, they'll cheer for Dong too, because you're brothers. But if it's Jae-hoon versus Dong, they only cheer for Jae-hoon. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like they put a lot of work into that. They didn't have to do that at all. And we would be none the wiser, I guess, if they didn't.
It's just fun to have that extra layer of identity.
Yeah, definitely. It makes the game feel deeper and kind of a little bit more homey. Like you just want to spend more time in it.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Lately, I think a favorite has been the Kain stage, because I like being able to see Marie's portrait back there. Giant painting just with lights all around it, and yeah, I enjoy that stage too, so that's a favorite. Did you have any other stages you wanted to give a shout out to, or did you want to move on?
Well, I also used to really like the waterfall stage.
Okay, yeah.
And I do want to note that I didn't know for too long, that Hotaru and Gato are brother and sister. And I used to be confused because I think when you play as Hotaru on the waterfall stage, which belongs to Gato, it will play her theme.
I think so, yeah. I think it will. But yeah, that's the familial
I don't know
relation
for
thing.
sure. I feel like that happens, though. Because I feel like for a while I thought that theme went on that stage and got confused when I found out it wasn't. Anyways, I think that stage is very pretty. I like the water.
I could echo you and say a lot of the stages that you've already mentioned, but no, I would say that most of the stages in this game are just really, really nice in their own right. They all look beautiful, and they all have their own little unique Easter eggs depending on who you are, where you stand, what round it is. There's just so much put into this game that you're never really gonna see it all, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you will see it all eventually, but like, it's
impossible to see it all in one go, is what you're
definitely saying. Yeah, there's so much there that you're gonna want to come back to it. It's a great game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great stages and a lot of great themes, and I've been hearing them very frequently. Whenever I'll like walk into a room and you're on Spotify, you'll be listening to something, and it's usually the entire GAROU album on Spotify, just on loop.
Yeah, I have had days. I have had my days. It's a really good OST, and I'm just making up for lost time.
Well, aside from that, I would like to cover a couple of the game-specific mechanics that make this game stand out from other fighters of the era. There are universal commands that everybody has, so everybody's got feints that they can do by putting in a certain input. You can do 2 different feints, and some of them are, I think, funnier than others. Like when you do the Terry one over and over, he's like, burning, burning. And he does this really silly pose where he puts his arms out in the air, like at the start of Buster Wolf. I think that's my favorite in terms of looks, but in terms of actual functionality, they all vary as well. Feints are very cool. It's something that I think is interesting. It's a good concept. Another thing that everyone has is dodge attacks. They have a high and a low dodge attack, and they have crush properties where it'll stop an incoming high attack or an incoming low attack, depending on which one you use, and it's a hard read, but it is very rewarding as well because it'll lead to a full combo. That's something they're bringing back in City of the Wolves as well. And then maybe the most interesting of all of the mechanics is the TOP system. That one is wild, right?
Yeah.
It used to be the TOP system. That stood for Tactical Offensive Positioning. It's basically, it gives you a slight attack boost, and when you're in this certain spot on your health bar that you select before the fight, it's a third of your health bar. When you're in that section of it, you'll gain health, and then you also have access to a special move, basically. And when you're not in that section of your health bar, you can't use that the rest of the time. It always varies depending on the person. Jenet, for example, has a really good anti-air where she'll backflip up into the air. Kain's will charge him across 80% of the screen for a giant kick. I'm not 100% sure on what they all are, but they all vary in usefulness depending on who you are. Some of them are combo starters, some of them are just kind of tacked on damage or mobility, but it's a really cool system, and it's just another thing you have to think about during the fight. Strategically, where do you want to put your TOP meter? Because if you start with it at the beginning of your health bar, you'll have access to that move immediately. But if you put it later, towards the end of your health bar, you'll have the fact that you've built up more meter over time, and maybe you'll be able to use hidden specials or hidden supers.
Yeah, I gotta say that I'm glad that we started playing Mark of the Wolves on like a regular basis prior to the first beta of City of the Wolves, because I would have been, I'm not saying that I learned, all the ins and outs of the mechanics, because as you can hear, it's a lot, but even just having exposure to Mark of the Wolves before being thrown into City of the Wolves, it was good, because it's a lot. Now TOP has converted into the SPG.
And I'm sorry, I don't have what that one stands for.
No, we're not giving you the City of the Wolves breakdown just yet, but that was helpful because these things can feel very, overwhelming. It's a lot.
It is. It's a lot, but at the same time, a lot of the mechanics do carry over directly from Mark of the Wolves to City of the Wolves. So it's interesting seeing what they have chosen to bring back after 26 years.
True. I really didn't know I was gonna encounter a game that had this many things to think about.
Yeah, right. It's very complicated, but at the same time it feels so rewarding once you start getting it down. It's like even the very simple parts of it that are, just out of that normal range where maybe it's simple to the average SNK person, but you look at it and you're like, I've never seen something like this in my life. How do I do this? Once you start getting it down, it's like so satisfying and so rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
There are also character-specific mechanics, which I think is really interesting because not a lot of games do that. Some of them are too scared to, I think. You don't want to put one character in there that breaks the game or changes the game or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put Mai in Street Fighter 6, would you?
Right, just an example. You wouldn't want to put in like, a character that doesn't necessarily fit exactly what you want out of the game. So with that being said, Hakuto Maru, one of my go-to characters in Garou, he has a double jump, which is pretty awesome. It's great. It's something he can do anytime he's in the air, so he can short hop and then immediately do a double jump. It's a lot of fun. He can also teleport out of the double jump, so he can jump again, teleport on top of you. Gato and Hotaru can turn around midair, so they can jump over the top of you, do a normal, and any normal will be a cross-up upon it, I guess. So that's kind of cool. Some people might think that's cheap, but if you're going to play this game, just accept it, I guess.
Exactly.
Dong and jenet have super jumps. If you know what super jumps are, they're in a lot of SNK games. Pretty much everyone in the King of Fighters series can do them. But it's done by pressing down for just a moment before pressing up. That's a super jump. So Dong and jenet both have those. Dong can also wall jump, so he can get out of the corner a little bit easier than other characters. A couple other unique things. This is not exactly a system mechanic, but every character except for Kain is considered airborne during a backdash. So just thought that was interesting. He's not airborne during a backdash.
There's something about SNK with their bosses where they don't ever want them to be airborne, really.
Yeah, you're right. We just talked about Mr. Big recently not leaving the ground. He doesn't have a jump in the other game.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Another thing about Kain is that he wakes up 4 frames faster than every other character in the game.
Oh, what the heck?
And yeah,
no wonder I can't beat you.
Yeah, and that affects all of his wake-ups, his rolls, his just standard stand-up wake-up kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, he wakes up 4 frames faster than every other character.
I need that for my just everyday.
Honestly, I wish I was like that. I will be interested to see whether or not that's still true in City of the Wolves, or if he's just been kind of normalized now that he's not a boss character. But
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Wonder if they'll still let him have that or not.
I hope so.
I mean, you played him in the beta. Do you think? I don't know. Did you know about that before?
I honestly didn't know about this beforehand, so it wasn't something that I checked during the beta. But I will say that he felt good during the beta. Mm-hmm. And he's another character that I'm definitely looking forward to playing in the full release.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are all of the unique system mechanics that I've got, or all of the little unique character specific things that I thought were interesting. I really thought the Kain one was interesting because of course I play him and I didn't know he had that little built-in benefit.
That was fun.
I did want to bring up one other thing from that interview that I mentioned earlier before we end our Mark of the Wolves discussion. Oda had mentioned rumors of characters in this game named Urarak and Geese being hidden characters. So that did not end up being true, but I did think it was very interesting, and right now, going into City of the Wolves, it seems like there are rumors right now, once again, of maybe some hidden boss characters that we could potentially play as. I'm really hoping that's the case, because, like we've said, we don't have Geese on the roster, and he's someone that I really desperately want to play. So, Geese? Urarak? I think this sounds cool. What do you think?
I think that's interesting. And also, it seems likely enough, given that in Garou, you have your visible roster, but then you also have the two boss characters, Grant and Kain, off screen, but you can still be them. So
Right.
I'm hoping that ends up happening for City of the Wolves, where you can, geese, nightmare geese, like something.
Anything, honestly, any form of geese will be that we can play as would be very
Yeah,
welcome.
just a playable geese.
Any playable geese.
Just like unlockable geese somewhere at some point. I don't know. It feels like just because that has happened before, it feels like it could happen again.
It does feel that way. And I think it's really interesting that this was rumors that he was talking about from the year 2000, mind you. And these are the same types of rumors and characters that are going on right before City of the Wolves actually launches now, 26 years later.
That's so crazy.
Like, hey, is geese in the game? I hear geese is in the game. It's really exciting. It's really interesting, and it's a fun time. I wish I had been there before to experience it in 99.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I was a child. I was in elementary school. So, yeah. Well, I guess we'll know in a couple of days whether or not we get Urarak showing up or geese showing up, whoever that is.
Geese?
I hear the name. I keep not seeing this dude in all these games. Where is he?
Geese and his name and his face and his aura are being kind of thrown around lightly by SNK on the trail to City of the Wolves. So we'll see if we can play him.
Yeah, we'll see. Soon.
And we'll talk to you soon about all things City of the Wolves.
We are revving up.
We are overheating for this game.
And with that, I'm going to leave you with one final quote from Oda from the year 2000. And this was on the possibility of sequels. If we're able to make a sequel, I'd like to resolve all of the existing backstories, including the mystery of Gato's father. Will Rock continue down his dark path? Will he return to Terry? Will Lao become a factor? Please look forward to it.
Wow.
I don't know, Lao. Will Lao become a factor in this game?
Who's Lao?
I don't know who Lao is. Kung Lao?
Are we? Hold on a second. Is MK getting stakes here?
Yeah, so we'll see very soon if Terry continues down a dark path or if...
You mean Rock?
Yeah, well,
There's no going back for Terry.
Terry's already in a
Lost.
pretty dark place.
Terry is lost forever
Yeah.
on a train. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Wake Up 3. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at wakeupthreefgc, and you can find me, your host Molly, on Twitter as well at kahnkut. That's KAHNKUT. Cam, where are you?
I am also on Twitter and most other social media at bigruckonline. Once again, this has been Wake Up 3, signing off.
And revving up. Bye.
That was perfect. Just keep going. That was perfect. Oh!
Rashomon!
You'll have to excuse us. We just got Rashomon.